President Uhuru Kenyatta is this hour expected to visit the Directorate of Criminal Investigations headquarters in Nairobi. President Kenyatta is expected to visit the forensic lab at the facility as well as speak to DCI officers. Elfas Lagat is on location, now joins us live on phone. Good morning, Elfas Lagat. We see, I think this is the very first time that we're seeing the head of state visiting that facility. I may be wrong, but at least for this year, I know that's the correct position. Apart from now, seeing that the forensic lab and speaking to the DCI, what is it like as he makes this visit to that office?
Well, Sam, indeed, good morning to you. Right now, preparations are top gear to just receive the president. We are told that in the next about 15 minutes or so, he should be arriving at the Directorate of the Criminal Investigations, as you mentioned, just to assess the forensic lab, as well as we are meant to understand that he's going to be lauding some officers of the DCI for the past work that they've done. You remember, of course, and agree that the DCI, Judge Kinoti, the boss himself, has been one of the key pointsmen of President Uhuru Kenyatta in the recent past. And of course, now, once the president would be here, we'll also be addressing the issue of corruption. You'll understand that the two-day conference on anti-corruption is happening at the Bomas of Kenya, where the multi-sectoral initiative against corruption exploring alternative means of battling corruption. And of course, the DCI is one of the critical components, one of the critical organs in fighting graft. Of course, on the receiving end has been the judiciary, Chief Justice David Maraga being pointed out and asked to expedite graft cases in courts to ensure that the fight against corruption becomes a success. It is one of the president's key points of making his legacy ahead of 2022. Of course, the Big Four agenda also comes to the picture. But now the president is just expected here at the DCI headquarters any minute now, about 15 minutes or so. And now security operations are top-notch as he goes to assess the forensic lab, among others, recognizing DCI officers who've been exemplary in their work. We understand now that one of the conversations that would be kept is that of fighting corruption, bringing together key government organs, among them the DPP, the office of the DPP, that of the DCI, and also bringing judiciary on board. We understand, as I mentioned, that it has been on the receiving end of heavy criticism of what appears to be delaying graft cases. It is one of the areas that the president is keen on leaving our legacy ahead of 2022. So as I'm speaking to you right now, we are just right outside DCI headquarters, waiting for the head of state to arrive here to meet the DCI officers. And from there, we'll understand exactly what transpires from that. And of course, we'll be getting back to you in our subsequent bulletins to give you more details of what transpires just here at the DCI headquarters. Sam.
All right, Elfas, I know you may not have details about the nitty-gritties of what is in the forensic lab, but when you look at this visit at a time that we're having this conversation about fight against corruption, and even the voices that DCI and several other people spoke yesterday at the Bomas of Kenya, where do you place this sort of a visit in the fight against corruption and the crimes that you have seen in this country?
Let me take you to the crime aspect, Sam. You'd understand that last year, 2018, had some of the record-killing, high-profile murders in the country. And one of the questions was, do we have the capacity as a country to get cases to the point of conviction, having watertight cases? And one of the conversations was that the country was massively lacking in the arena of forensic evidence. And I, for instance, would say that the forensic lab now here at the DCI headquarters, the conversation around getting forensic evidence would serve as a big boost in the direction of getting watertight cases, which agreeably, again, has been one of the major challenges that judiciary, of course, saying as the law states, a case must be proved beyond any reasonable doubt before it gets to a point of conviction. Of course, there's the issue of presumption of innocence until proven guilty, which is also one of the provisions of the Constitution. And of course, those are some of the aspects, or rather, the points where the judiciary tries to explain why cases are dragging on and on and on. But of course, getting a proper forensic lab, Sam, and of course, the president now being here to oversee this, is to ensure that moving forward, the agencies involved in investigations to the point of taking them to court would have watertight cases. And that is where the forensic lab now comes in. If the country has the capacity of building proper forensic evidence, and that is now subject to the forensic lab, that moving forward would present a more way of fighting corruption. And as I mentioned, that is one of the legacies that President Uhuru Kenyatta wants to be remembered for. And that is why he's really on the forefront in this aspect of the anti-corruption at the moment of Kenya, the forensic lab as well, so that moving forward, the country is able to tackle cases of graft.